We're now speaking to SABC News International Editor Sophie Mokoena. Sophie, thank you so much indeed for your time. Good evening. How important are these talks?
They are quite important, Kaya, as you are aware that many people have fled the region, but also many people have died. And it has been now quite a long time people have been fighting there. And we know that the world is not really paying attention. As the Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros, has pointed out, you look at what's happening in Ukraine, the humanitarian crisis, everybody is paying attention to that. Lots of funds are channeled in terms of assisting those who are affected. But the world is looking away. They don't want to really entertain this problem in TigraI. And there's hope that perhaps the talks will assist the two parties to find one another, and there's going to be peace in TigraI. The government of Ethiopia has pointed out that they are willing and they will be attending the talks. And the other side, the TPFL, has also agreed that they will be in South Africa for the talks.
And why is South Africa host for these talks?
Kaya, you are aware that it is not the first time South Africa is doing this. You know that after independence, South Africa took a decision that its foreign policy is going to be anchored around issues related to peace and security. You know that during the DRC conflict, it is South Africa who was willing to bring the warring factions in South Africa for talks for quite a long time. And finally, there was peace in the DRC and there was elections. Now, South Africa, again, is doing the same. And you know that South Africa has always emphasized that the country wants peace on the continent, because you are not going to have a prosperous continent when you have these conflicts on the continent. And therefore, South Africa is doing this. There are reports, unconfirmed reports. I'm trying to get hold of the former Deputy President of South Africa, Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, that she is going to be part of the main facilitation committee that is led by Obasanjo, and also the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta. And let's hope that definitely these talks will be a way forward in terms of bringing peace in that region.
And just before I let you go, Sophie, I see news just in that former President Obasanjo is currently briefing the UN Security Council about this current conflict.
Yes, if you check the Twitter account of Shawan Bryce-Pease, our correspondent at the UN, he posted demonstrations outside the UN headquarters. The pro-Tigrayan are protesting outside the headquarters of the United Nations because currently, as we speak, Obasanjo is giving the Security Council behind closed doors a briefing in terms of what's happening there and perhaps the process going forward. And therefore, they felt that they must demonstrate to emphasize the fact that these talks must definitely happen and the world must pay attention to what's happening in the TigraI region in Ethiopia. But fortunately, the government of Ethiopia is committed, that's what they said, to these talks, and let's hope that things will be better. But it is sad, very, very sad, that the world is not doing enough to ensure that this conflict is handled properly and finally there's peace in that region, while the whole attention is on Ukraine. It speaks to who you are in terms of the regions. We know that the Sub-Sahara all the time, we are seen as a region that doesn't deserve attention, and there's quick reaction when something is happening in Europe. The same with what's happening in Palestine.
That's SABC's international editor, Sophie Mokoena. Thank you so much for that insight.